Hello, this is the building safety portion of our training, and what I'm going to do is utilize one of our center's manuals for emergency preparedness procedures. In each center you will find a manual posted on the wall just inside the classroom doors and in various locations throughout the building. While you are in the center making yourself familiar with it, please make sure that you look into what the procedures are for each one of the buildings. I'm going to cover all of the general notes of our procedures. On the first page of the emergency preparedness booklet is an emergency contact phone number list. These are specific to the area that our centers are in and have all of our local emergency phone numbers in them. The next page is a utility shutoff location. In the event of certain types of emergencies, we require the janitor to turn off our utilities at our locations. But in the event that emergency personnel come out, we have these locations identified for them, and also in the event that the center manager or janitor or both of them are absent, this gives you the areas that have our utility shutoff locations posted on them. And I would make yourself familiar with these. These are our procedures for each type of emergency. We're going to start with fire evacuation, and they are broken down into different staff's responsibilities. And as you go through them, they will, depending on what position you hold, you will refer to that spot in each one of these procedures. For example, classroom staff's responsibility. Once the alarm is sounded, the children will line up at the door. You verify that all children are present and accounted for by using the attendance sheet for the day. You'll pick up the fanny pack, emergency bag, and attendance sheet. Evacuate the building in an orderly fashion. Proceed to the designated gathering area. And once you get there, you verify that all your children are present and accounted for by using the attendance sheet for that day. In the fanny packs, there is a green card, a red card, and a white card. And after you have verified that everybody is present and accounted for, and that everybody is safe and not injured, in that event you would hold up the green card, letting the center manager know that everything is okay with your classroom. If there is a problem, say a missing child, then you would hold up the red card to let the center manager know that they need to come and talk to you. Or if you have a medical emergency, there is a card that is white with a red cross on it, and you will hold that up and the nurse will come over and speak with you at that time. You do not leave the designated gathering area until the all clear is given by the center manager or his or her designee. You'll take the kids back into the building, return to the classroom, and again you will verify that all children are present and accounted for using the attendance sheet for that day, and then resume normal activities. So each one of these areas are broken down into classroom responsibilities, the center manager's responsibilities, the support staff responsibilities, And if you're not sure if you're support staff or not, support staff would be center aides, family liaisons, head teachers, and persons that are visiting from central office, the content area managers. They are support staff. And if you are working in the center and you're designated as support staff, your center manager will talk to you and let you know ahead of time where you should go and what responsibilities you would have. The nurse has her responsibilities, the kitchen staff will have their responsibilities, and the center manager and janitor will be the last people out of the building because they are making sure that everybody is out of the building. Now, in each one of your classrooms, you will find an evacuation map, and in this particular evacuation map, the place that you are standing, if you're looking at that certain map, is marked with "you are here." The closest fire extinguisher is listed on that map, and the arrows for your evacuation routes take you to different directions. Red arrow being the primary exit, and that should be the route that you choose first. In the event that you cannot go that way, you have an alternative route to take that is listed on the chart. In the event of an evacuation of the building, there is a designated meeting place, and that will be told to you by your center manager. In the event of a tornado, our shelter plan is as follows. If you are a classroom staff, you should hear an announcement saying "shelter in place." You're going to line up at the door, and again, you're going to verify that all of our children are present and accounted for by using that attendance sheet before you leave the classroom. You're going to pick up the fanny pack and the emergency bag and the attendance sheet and proceed to the designated area. The designated area is listed on your map that is in your classroom as the gold area. And depending on which room or which area of the building you're in, these locations might be different. So you need to make yourself aware of the different areas within the building and where you and your classroom are supposed to go in the event of a tornado. You would go to the designated area, verify that all your children are present and accounted for by using the attendance sheet for that day, and you do not leave that designated area until the all clear is given by the center manager. You'll return to the classroom once the all clear is given, and again you will verify that all of your children are present and accounted for, and in the event of just a drill, you're going to resume your normal daily activities. If in the event that we have damage to the building, then your center manager will give you instructions to follow, and we will proceed from there. And again, each one of these charts are broken down into the different responsibility areas for the different types of staff. So I would take a few minutes and go through these and make yourself familiar with the area that pertains to you. And again, in each one of your classrooms is the evacuation map, and in the event of a shelter in place, like a tornado, you would proceed to the gold area depending on what area of the building you are in. Now, in the event of a lockout, and I know there is a lot of confusion these days about lockdowns in schools, and you hear every day that, you know, a school is in a lockdown. In the event of a situation outside of the building, this would be maybe an animal, activities going on that are not safe for children, animals that are getting into the area, and it could be strange people, you know, a stranger or strange activities that are going on within the area. So what you would hear is lockout, secure the perimeter. Now, in the event of a lockout, we are locking, making sure that all the doors and windows are closed on the building, and making sure that the exterior doors of the building are locked and secured. This is so the situation that is outside the building stays outside the building, and all the staff and children are safe within the building. For the classrooms, you're to remain in that classroom, check that all of your children are present and accounted for, and you would just proceed with your daily activities. If you were out on the playground and a lockout has been announced, you gather your children quickly, return to your classroom. Using your daily attendance sheet, be sure that all your children are present and accounted for. When coming in from the playground, ensure that the door is completely closed and locked when you come in, and you would just go on with classroom duties. Nobody is to leave the building until the all clear is given, and if law enforcement is involved in the situation outside, until we get an all clear from the local law enforcement, nobody is to go outside the building. Again, make yourself aware of the different situations and your responsibilities as a staff person, and if you are not clear whether you are considered classroom staff or support staff, verify that with the center manager and make yourself familiar. Now, in the event of a lockdown, and we always hear such and such school is on lockdown, and that really doesn't give us much information. It just tells us that there is a problem or an issue over there at the school. Now, whether it's something going on outside the school or inside the school, you really don't know. So we have made these changes where lockdown means that something is going on within the school. Something has happened within the school. Someone has gotten into the school, and we are making sure that everyone is safe. So if you hear lockdown, locks lights out of sight, that would be the announcement that you would hear. You immediately do a quick sweep of the hallways and instruct any children and staff that are nearby to come into the classroom. You lock your classroom door, and doors must never be opened for anything. So once you have shut your classroom door and locked it, do not open that door again. Once the situation has been cleared up, law enforcement will open up the door if law enforcement is involved in this situation, or the center manager will open the door. Do not, under any circumstance, open the door to your classroom just by somebody talking to you. Once you have gone into your area, your safe area within your classroom, after you've heard lockdown, locks lights out of sight, you're going to stay with the children, verify that all your children are present and accounted for, And as much as you can, keep the children quiet and out of the line of sight from interior windows. Turn off all the classroom lights, close all the windows, and try to maintain calm in the classroom. This is the one time that you will hear me say, if the fire alarm goes off, do not evacuate the room unless there are visible signs of fire in the immediate area that would jeopardize your safety. Evacuation should then be completed through an alternate route other than the classroom door. If there is an exterior door located within the classroom, utilize the exterior door and go outside. Wait in the classroom until a uniformed officer or known center staff member invites you out of the room and proceed to the designated area you are directed to. This is only in the event that the door is opened by law enforcement or the center manager. When leaving the classroom, make sure you take the fanny pack, any emergency medications that you have, the attendance sheet, the care plans, and appropriate emergency bags with you. Once you have arrived at the designated area that has been given to you by either the police, the uniformed officer, or the center manager, then you will verify that you have all of your kids using the daily attendance sheet and keep all of the children with you at all times. Do not release any children to anyone at this time. While you are in that area, if everything is okay, you'll hold up the green card. If there is a problem, whether it be a missing child or you may have an extra child, you will hold up the red card. And then if you need medical attention, hold up the white card with the red cross. And this will inform the nurse that she needs to come over and see you. But again, I cannot emphasize it enough that you do not open the door for anybody. You do not open the door when you hear an all clear announcement over the intercom. The only time that door will be opened up is by somebody on the outside that has a key, and it should be law enforcement or the center manager. But under no circumstance open that door for anybody. Again, depending on your position in the center, make sure that you go through these and what you're responsible for, or ask the center manager and let her tell you what your responsibilities would be. If there is a child missing, make sure you hold up the red card and you report to the center manager that you have a child missing. Hopefully that child was just in the nurse's office with the nurse, or in some other area of the building and might be with another classroom, and we will get this all sorted out. On your evacuation map, there will be an area labeled in purple that shows you where your lockdown or intruder area is. So refer to the evacuation map that is in your classroom as to where you need to be within your classroom if we are in a lockdown, locks, lights, out of sight situation. If there is a bomb threat, or we're going to cover a discovery of a suspicious package, under no conditions attempt to touch or move the device. And again, please refer to the area that you are designated at, whether you are classroom staff, but make sure that you follow the instructions of the center manager. So classroom staff, upon notification of the situation, remain calm. Follow the instructions on what to do that were given to you by the staff alerting you to the problem. If evacuation is ordered, follow the instructions for evacuating from our fire drill procedure. If a lockout is ordered, follow the instructions for lockout and secure the perimeter. That might be a suspicious package is outside of the building, and we don't want anybody outside of the building and in the general vicinity of that package. The center manager will then make the determination and call 911, bringing in law enforcement, and we will follow the instructions of the law enforcement on what they would like us to do. So if you have any questions, please ask your center manager what you're to do in this situation. Now, if a bomb threat is called in over the telephone and you just by chance happen to answer the phone, you need to stay calm and keep the caller on the phone as long as possible. Ask questions in the bomb threat list that are on this card. These cards are in each one of our emergency preparedness books. So you take the date of the call, the exact words of the caller, the time of the call, and if there is caller ID on the phone, please write down the number. Things to ask the caller: when is the bomb going to explode? Where is the bomb? What does the bomb look like? What kind of bomb is it? What will cause it to explode? Did you place the bomb? Why? Where are you calling from? What is your address? What is your name? It might be something, more than likely they will not answer these questions, but they might. Listen for noises that are in the background, the street noises, if it sounds like they're in a phone booth, factory machinery, animal noises, voices. Is it clear? Can you hear a PA system in the background? What was the announcement that you heard? If there's static on the line, if it's house noises, music in the background, if it sounds like a long distance or a local call, office machinery, motor noises, any other noises, make sure that you list them down. These could aid in finding the place where the call originated from. The type of language that the person used: were they well spoken, educated, incoherent? Is it a taped message? Did they use foul language? Were they irrational? Was the message scripted by the threat maker? Does the voice sound familiar, and who did it sound like? Write down your name since you received the call, and your telephone number the call was received at and the date. Then think of the caller's voice. Could you tell the sex, maybe the age, or was there an accent? And then circle all that apply to the caller's voice. Were they normal, calm, slow, crying, slurred, stutter, deep, loud, broken, sincere, giggling, angry, rapid, or did they sound stressed? Getting this information can help in figuring out who has called in this bomb threat. So get down as much information as you can, and keep the person on the line as long as you can. While you're talking to the person, get somebody's attention that you can write a note to, so that somebody else can call 911 and let them know that we have somebody on the phone that is calling in a bomb threat. And then follow their instructions. They may ask you to do a lockout, or they may ask you to evacuate the building. So follow the instructions of law enforcement at that time. And then if you are working in the Boone Center, Boone is a unique center that we have a chemical depot that is located close to our center. So in the event that there would be a chemical release coming from that chemical depot, you will be instructed to shelter in place. And you will need to follow the instructions of the center manager. You will get a warning horn and told to go to the shelter in place area. And when you do that, it is just like sheltering in place for a tornado. So if you are not part of the Boone Center, this will not pertain to you for the chemical release from the Pueblo Chemical Depot. So follow the instructions for the shelter in place for a chemical release from the Pueblo Chemical Depot. And that will conclude our section on building safety. Again, make yourself